quit my job so you don't have to. I used to hate it when I was at a party and someone would ask me, what do you do for a living? The answer always felt so complicated in my head. Do I tell them what I do from 9 to 5 or what I do at midnight when my whole family is asleep? Because what I did for a paycheck and health insurance was much different than what I spent many sleepless nights working towards. And honestly, for many years, it felt kind of silly to call myself a filmmaker because for a long time, it wasn't my main source of income. But now it is. And I realized I should have never felt weird about leading with it at parties to begin with. It's wild to think that creative work is my sole source of income at the moment, but also low-key terrifying. And to be completely honest with you, I don't think the full-time creative life is for everyone. I'm not even sure if it's for me. But in order to figure it out, I want to share 3 things I wish I fully understood before becoming a full-time creative. Thing number 1. To truly thrive as essentially a full-time freelancer, you have to be comfortable with uncertainty, which, to be honest, I'm not very good at. For context, I am married and my wife and I have 3 boys. So ditching the stable paycheck for freelance checks has been a scary adjustment for me. While on average, the freelance checks are well-paying, they come less frequently. So figuring out how to budget each check can be hard to do. Basically, I make money 2 different ways at the moment. The first way is through brand deals. Since I have a somewhat solid presence on Instagram and TikTok, I'm able to do brand partnerships with large brands like Mercedes-Benz and Adobe. The second way is through the small media company I started with my wife, House Rules Media. My wife is a talented illustrator and I am a mixed media animator. So we help brands tell better stories through mixed media animations and hand-drawn illustration. 2025 has kicked off with some really solid projects, so I'm good at the moment, but ask me how much money I think I will make for the whole year, and I honestly have no clue. And that's a little nerve-wracking when you have a family to support. At the same time, though, there are many benefits to this new lifestyle. I don't have to report to anyone on a daily basis. My schedule can be super flexible, and if we want to pick up and work from anywhere in the world, we technically can now, which is hard for me to wrap my head around because I'm so used to being chained to my desk for so many hours throughout the day. It's weird to have such flexibility in my schedule. I try to remind myself of all these positive aspects often, but I'm an anxious person. And it's hard for me to trust that it will all work out in the end. What's funny though is that in my life, there have been a couple of moments of really scary uncertainty that have ended up shifting my filmmaking career in ultimately a positive direction. Like after my home was ruined by Hurricane Sandy was when I decided to become a filmmaker instead of a teacher. And during COVID, I started making mixed media animations because I couldn't go out and make short films with friends. In the long run, those seasons of uncertainty helped me grow, and I know that this season will too. The only difference is that this season was self-imposed, so I often let doubt creep in on whether I made the right choice, leaving stability. And to be honest with you, I really hope I did. Thing number 2. If you are used to having only a little amount of time to work on your art, having an abundant amount of time might not actually be as productive as you think. Back when I first started posting on TikTok, I posted at least once a day, sometimes 2 to 3 times a day, which is so wild to think back on, but I was hungry to make it. I was so convinced that all I needed was one big video to pop off and everything would be different. And then I started to have videos pop off, and my life didn't suddenly change overnight. More and more freelance opportunities started to come my way, but it was very gradual. And between my day job and the freelance opportunities I started to get, I only had a little tiny window of time each week to make videos just for the fun of making videos. And I always took advantage of that time. It was sacred and hard to come by. And I remember being a bit resentful of anyone who was a full-time creative. I thought to myself, how is it that I am able to make so much with such little time while artists that do this for a living can't be consistent? But here I am on a random Tuesday writing this script, and I am having the hardest time just sticking to these self-imposed deadlines I have. I think the truth is I kind of worked best under that pressure. It led me to not overthink everything I made. I had to lead with instinct and trust that if it was good, it would find its audience. So if you're like me, don't assume it will get easier to be productive when it's your full-time job. The fact is, the limited time you have right now might be a superpower for you, and you have no idea. It's a lot easier to not overthink your art when it's not paying your bills. Thing number 3, there will never be a perfect time to quit. It will always be a leap of faith. I really hope that I look back at this video a year from now and I am still a full-time creative. An artist, though, that is more at peace with the general uncertainty that goes into being a full-time artist. At the same time, I hope the message I get across to other creatives watching this video right now is that you don't need to quit your job to call yourself a creative. You don't need to quit in order to start your creative endeavors. Don't let that be a roadblock for you. If there's a short film you want to make, go out and make it. Use those little pockets of time you have in your schedule to make art that fulfills you.